Hi, and it's great to see a few of you jumping on board. Hey, Kate. Hey, Maddie. Lynn. I'm not going to say hello to all of you as you jump on, but it's great to see you. First, let me. um, no, brilliant. Sandra, Julie, good to see you. Good to see you. Marie, I've got a few. Oh, ladies, thank you so much for joining me. Em, lovely to see you. I'm going to take my can't decide if I look worse with my glasses on or with my glasses off because I've got this in I don't even know what it is in my eye. I'm so sorry. I woke up with it this morning and I thought, great. I'm presenting tonight on how to fall in love with your money, and I've got this goopy eye. So, ladies, I apologize. What I thought we'd do is just give people a couple of minutes, just settle down. Yep, Alex. Hello. I don't think there's anyone else. Maybe there is. Ladies, would you mind, I can answer any questions, but we'll just leave it for 2 or 3 minutes. Not about my eye. Thank you. But I'll just leave it 2 or 3 minutes and just make sure that everyone's on board that is coming on board. Thank you. Feeling a bit directionless. And then I'm going to play around with slides or not, because I just think it's a nice way to do things. So let's. So I don't know how many of you have been from Melbourne, but it was, I think, about 38 degrees today. It has been so hot, and we've got it, and then we had sudden thunderstorms at about 3:30. Then they stopped. Then, as I was getting home at about 5, the sky went black again, and then it stopped again. And then I had to come back here because I went into at home. I've got a studio as well, but I went home into my home studio and it was so hot in there. It was insane. So I thought I'll come back down here because it's been cool. We've been at work all day and it's been cooler, and it is much cooler. So yeah, I just thought this was a better place. So what's everyone been doing in the hot weather? Oh, Mari, you're from Sydney. Yeah. And Grace is from Perth, so it's always hot there. My sister's there. Yeah, okay. So let's get started, ladies. And I will talk to you from the start how to fall in love with your money. So, how to fall in love with your money. And why do we want to fall in love with our money? Because I don't know about you and what some of the purposes of you being here. In fact, maybe you could just send me a quick in the chat, just what brought you here tonight? Better with money? Change? Never have enough money? Spend less? Get savings? Scared of retirement? You can all see the chat. I'll download the chat for you. Obviously keeping you guys very anonymous for this presentation. So again, thank you for being here. First names only, and absolute really appreciate you all joining in and being part of this. So the things that brought you here tonight were the things that actually started my happy money journey. Was that I was scared, I was afraid, I didn't know where I was going. And what had happened to me, I don't know if you've listened to the podcast or you've read the book, but basically what had happened to me is I'd been in a business partnership. In that business partnership, we had an absolute separation agreement as part of our overall partnership agreement. And the person I was in partnership with just decided that they didn't feel like sticking to it. So when I tried to exit the business, I ended up in litigation for ages. Now, at the same time as all this was happening, my partner of, I think maybe 6 years, we were living together, decided that he would exit the relationship as well. So at the same time, I have two very important relationships exiting my life. And at the time also, I couldn't work because I was in a situation with the ex-business partner or my business partner as we were going through the litigation. I couldn't work because I had a restraint of trade situation going on. So it was all very difficult. And until the business partnership separation actually went through, I couldn't do anything. I'd been paying for my life partner's car because he had a work car. I was paying for his car. I was paying for all sorts of things. In fact, I was probably paying the bulk of the bills in that situation. And all of a sudden, I had no savings because I was spending it all on lawyers and I had nothing. And I was really frightened. And it was extraordinary. I had a $30,000 or $35,000 credit card debt. I was renting because we'd moved to a bigger house so that we could rent together. All of these things. And I was falling way out of love with money. I was falling out of love with love. I was falling out of love with business. And I was certainly falling out of love with money. And what I had to do, because I had to keep working and I didn't want to go back to being employed anymore. So I had to keep working for myself. And at the minute that business partnership shut down, I started Clover Financial, which, as you may or may not know, is an award-winning mortgage broking company that I've run for 17 years. I have a financial planning background, but I didn't actually continue with the financial planning business because after a few, because a few years ago, basically what happened was that all the legislation around financial planning changed. It became a lot more expensive to practice as a financial planner, and I just didn't want to do it anymore. It wasn't satisfying me because the only people that could use the financial planners were the people with a lot of money. And the people that I want to help are the people that are saying things like you're saying in the chat. The reason that you are here tonight is because you want to get better with money. The reason that you're here tonight is because you're scared of retirement. The reason that you're here tonight are all the reasons that I started my happy money journey. And they're all the reasons that I want you to be on yours. So how do we then fall in love with money? Well, the first question I need to ask you is, and you'll know this if you've ever been dating, and I have been on some dreadful dates after my partner and I split up. So how are you showing up? How are you showing up for your money? Back in the very olden days, and I know that by the looks of you, most of you ladies will remember this, we used to carry around notes and coins. But what I mean by how you're showing up is how do you present with your money? And think back to the notes and coins days. Do you keep all your notes in nice order? Is everything really sensible? Or do you have, little screwed up bits of money here and there, and things are just a little bit all over the place? They're a bit of chaos. They're a bit of confusion. Are you showing up, dressed to the nines and ready for romance? Or are you showing up in your trackies and feeling a bit scruffy and tired? What is going on when you're dealing with your money? And when you look at your bank accounts, is everything in order, or do you slide around to overdrawn sometimes? Are you sometimes transferring money into credit cards and then out again? Are you a mess? Are you showing up as a mess, or are you showing up as someone who is primed and ready to go? Because that, my lovely ladies, can be the biggest difference. It can really, the way you show up for yourself, the way you show up for your money, the way you show up in all sorts of parts of your life really does make a huge difference. And it all comes down to, what do you value in what you're doing? What is important to you? And how much effort and energy and time are you putting into what you value? The things that really light you up. Because let me tell you, and this is my favorite slide, self-care isn't selfish. You looking after yourself is not selfish. You looking after yourself first, you showing up for yourself, you being a part of yourself and looking after yourself is not in any way selfish. So how you show up for yourself, and then what's your type? And by what's your type, I mean, what's your money type? So I'm going to give you a couple of examples, and I want you to tell me in the chat which one you identify most with. So I'm going to talk about the hoarder, the person that has to keep all of her money really close to her. She's hoarding it all. She's making sure that she knows where every cent is. She is not letting go of that money. There is no joy. She is not letting go of that money. She knows exactly where it is, just in case something happens in the future. And then there's the spender. She's throwing it all away. As soon as she gets some, she's lost it again. She's giving it away. She's getting rid of it. She's buying stuff that she doesn't need. She's just spending, 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 spending. The next one is a combo of both. I call her the yo-yo. So she goes back and forth, and she really does go through peaks and troughs of spending and saving. So that can be, the yo-yo. Or are you the money maker? You are obsessed with making money. All you need is more money. All the answers to all your problems are about just gathering more money and making more money and working your ass off and working from, dawn till dusk, making sure that you've got as much money as possible. Or are you completely indifferent to the money? Do you look at the money and you think, you could be there, you couldn't be there. I don't care about you. I don't want to know you. You are not important to me. Do you hate the money? Are you somehow resentful that you've got to have the money in your life in the first place? Does the money sort of make you feel ick and yuck and you just don't like it at all? Are you a bit of a gambler? Do you bet big? Do you go large? Do you take high risk actions? Or are you the warrior, the person that's actually too scared to make a move at all? Slightly different from the hoarder in that you're not hoarding money. You're just worried about it all the time. You don't necessarily have any. So we talked about the hoarder, the spender, the yo-yo. We talked about the money maker, the indifferent to money, the money hater, the gambler, and the warrior. Which one would you be? Just put your answers in the chat. It's funny when you start looking at your money type and you become very, very self-conscious about it. I would have been a yo-yo. I would have been sometimes spending, sometimes saving. But I had a background in financial services. So when all of that stuff that I was telling you about before happened to me, I have a background in financial services. So that made me 10 times as self-conscious about the things that were happening to me and how difficult it was for me. And it was difficult for me with all those resources. So that being said, it's twice as difficult for anyone that doesn't have that sort of intimate understanding of financial services and how they work. Which is why I ask you, what are you going to do on your first date? So now you've got a little bit of an insight into how you're showing. You've had a little self-reflection on how you're showing up for yourself. We've talked about what your type is. Now, what are you going to do on your first date? How do you fall in love with your money? And I think one of the most beautiful ways of falling in love with your money is to just get to know it a little better. See what it's doing. What does it like to do? Where does it sometimes feel a bit vulnerable? What's its reason for being? Why do we need to get to know it? What do you need to get to know about your money? because you want to get to know as much about your money on your first date as you possibly can. How do you do that? Well, let me tell you, you track your spending. You start having a look at where you're putting your money, what's going on with it, where's it going, and you put it all into an expense tracker. Do it over 3 months. It doesn't take long. You can, and we do this as part of the mini money makeover course. You can just do this by jumping into an expense tracker. Now, I will share with you one of the units of the course for free if you I'll share one of the units of the course with you for free if you just afterwards we'll send out an email and afterwards just respond and I'll send it through to you so that you can have a look, and it will show you how to do your tracking of your expenses. It's just one small part of it. Gives you a little bit of insight into the course, and it is for all you, how many of you? 17 beautiful women that have decided to show up tonight. So this is just for you. And I'll send that through. You just respond to the email that you get later. And that'll help you track your expenses. Because once you've tracked your expenses, you can start working out where your money's going and how much of that money is going on things that bring you joy, things that align with your values, things like health and connection and home and well-being and family, all the things that matter to you and you personally, not that matter to me or matter to Susan or matter to Em. Like, these are the things that just matter to you. So really have a look into that and take a moment and really, on that first date with your money, that very first date, I want you to really, really get to know your money. Where is it? What's it doing? What does it like to do? Because that's how I'd like it to look, the things that bring you joy being the most things. So you've decided how to show up for yourself. You know your type. You've jumped in and had your first date, and things are now starting to get a bit serious with your money as you're falling in love. And this is fun, right? Because it's fun when things start to get serious. One of the things we've got to do when things start to get serious is we've got to start thinking about what are my needs and what are their needs. So what does money need from me? And where does my money need to go? And here, this part to me is just integral to being able to support not just yourself, but to support your family, to support others in this situation, because what we're really looking for here is, what boundaries do you need? As you get serious, you can start to put some boundaries in place. You get serious about your money. It's your money. You've earned it. There is no gender or age that make you make good or bad money decisions. So let's think about this for a minute. What are some of the things that you do at the moment with your money that either don't align with you, that either don't align with your values, or that you almost feel forced or put upon to be doing every time you do it? So I'll give you an example of mine, and this is just classic mothering, single motherness, something like that. I have a terrible habit of giving my daughter money. It's my habit. And I know deep down inside that I need her to need me. And that's why I keep giving her money. I'll just do a little bit of shopping for you. I'll just help you out here. I'll help you out there. She's 28 years old. She has a child of her own. She does not need my help. So that boundary needs to be there for me. When we put up a few boundaries and we start to have a look at those unspoken agreements, I think I'd like to call them, as we're getting serious, we need to look at the agreements we've got in place, the boundaries that we need to put in place, but the agreements that brought us there. My agreement with my daughter, I need her to need me. I need to feel important and like I've got something going on with her, because if I don't, then what am I there for? I'm there for all sorts of things. I've got all sorts of wonderful going on. But my giving her money, lack of boundaries, telling you. So what are some of the things that you need to say no to in your life? Could be saying no to going to a shopping center because every time you go to the shopping center, you overspend massively. Could be saying no to going out with a specific group of friends because they just spend too much and you can't keep up and you don't enjoy yourself. Like if you enjoy yourself, cool, go out there, spend too much money. That's the whole value, the whole falling in love with your money is about the amount of joy it brings you. What are the things that you're doing with money at the moment that are not bringing you joy, that you might be doing because you're in a silent, unspoken agreement with someone? So your agreement with someone might be that, every time you go out, you shout them lunch. What are some of the things that you need to say no to? Uh, um, yes, husband's footy club, kids, kids, kids at Kmart, kids, kids. I see a bit of a theme here. It's good to see I'm not an island. So yeah, that's a good question. So Jane just asked, how do you say no in a long-term relationship where and I get what you mean, Jane, where we've got those agreements in place with people where we've unconsciously, like I was with my ex-partner, I was paying that car off. I was taking on a whole lot of the debts and I was scared to have that conversation with him. And almost like at the beginning when of almost like going on the first date, I think, with when you go on the first date with your money, having a just let's sit down and work out what we want to achieve in the next year. Let's make it not about money, because the other thing about, I think, having conversations with your partner about money, particularly when you're feeling disempowered, is that starting the conversation on the money foot, you I don't want to say gaslit, but that kind of, oh, sweetie, don't you worry about that. You don't need to know about that. I've got that all covered. But if you make it from the perspective of what are some of the things that we want to achieve together in the next year? What are some of the adventures we want to have? What are some of the wonderful things that we want to do? Everything costs money. So instead of having that quite aggressive or silent or passive or things that will bring all sorts of things up, don't be afraid to say no, but also let's make it about shared goals and shared values and start at that perspective. Does that help? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. The other one I use to start a money conversation is, I feel like I've been a bit slack in the money department. I'd like to know a bit more about what we're doing in our personal finances. I feel like I've left it all up to you, and that's not fair. If you get a don't you worry about that, start looking through the bank accounts. Just take it. Yeah. Okay. I, all right. I want to answer that question. And the question is, what if every time we talk about money, we have a fight? I want to answer that question. I just want to answer the question from just by circling back to that original conversation. Just don't talk about money. Talk about shared goals. Talk about next adventures. Talk about what we're doing on the weekend, but don't make the conversation about money, because my thoughts around that are that you've got your money story, but they've got their money story as well. And their money story and your money story aren't aligning. And you can get to the bottom of that by having very small, simple conversations over a long period of time. What were your parents like about money? What do you need to do about money? I think particularly in a male-female relationship, Men really do feel the need to be heroes, and they feel the need to look after. And I've said it before and I'll say it again, age or gender does not make you a money expert. They might know as little as you do. And I've had that with couples before, and couples in their 50s and in their 40s coming in and saying, she spends all our money. Well, she's actually looking after your 3 kids with all that money, and you've got to be reasonable. Oh, thank you. So that was very helpful. Thank you. Thank you very much. Give it a try. Keep in touch too, and let me know how it goes, because I'm interested. Your money is forever. You've always got it. It's always going to be around you. So when we're looking at our money and the fact that it is forever, you've made a big commitment in this life. You've decided that you are going to earn money. How much of that money is bringing you the joy that you need it to bring? This is forever. So forever, you start looking at taking out the guesswork, knowing exactly where your money is, knowing exactly where it's going. So in the mini money makeover course, one of the things that we are doing constantly is working out how much your basics are, setting them to the side, putting all your variable expenses into an account that you can just go and tap and pay with as often as you like. That will bring you joy, because you will know then that all of your basics are covered. All of your household expenses, all of your direct debits are coming out. You're never going to be at the supermarket going, tap, declined, oops, I had a direct debit coming out of that account, because it's not going to happen anymore, because you've moved them all to the one account. And I don't want you to start 25 different accounts that are all named after fire hydrants. I don't think it's necessary. I think 2 accounts, 3 if you want something for luxuries. I do mine as a savings account, but whatever you need, like high interest, whatever, that's hidden money. I hide that money from myself. But take the guesswork out of what you're doing by knowing where your spending goes, and then organizing your accounts so that you know exactly where they are. And it's so important. And it takes a heap of practice. And one of those practices has to be practicing gratitude. Taking a moment to look around us and just thinking of all the amazing things that you've got already, the amazing position that you're in. This is forever. Getting away from a mindset of scarcity and lack and getting toward a mindset of joy and abundance is as simple as practicing gratitude. I cannot tell you, ladies, it's just that. And it is exactly what we're going to show you in the mini money makeover. So in the mini money makeover, we go through what in your mindset is holding you back. And can I say, it is always that feeling of not being enough, that feeling of scarcity, that feeling of lack that we all get when it comes to something that we don't understand. And because we don't understand it, because we're made to feel foolish about not understanding it, the rest of the mini money makeover is all about getting you on top of your spending. So going on that first date and really digging deep into your spending, it sets you up. So we get all your financial paperwork set up, but we also get all your bank accounts set up, and it sets you up, and then you're done. And with the and the next module is all about just envisioning your amazing future and just putting a vision behind it and drawing it. And it's this great exercise that I've done a number of times that really works and is amazing. It really helps you sort of manifest and bring in what you want to bring in as far as your money goes. So if you feel like today's taster was something that you'd really want to jump on, please jump on. I am going to, in the emails that follow this presentation, for you and for the other people that weren't able to make it, I'll send through a copy of the slides and everything. And I will also send through a link to the And I'll also send through a link to the tracker so that you can actually learn how to track your expenses, and you can start using that or doing that. That's a really good exercise and will really help you. So if you're interested in the mini money makeover, we would love to have you on board. There's plenty of space. It's an evergreen course, so you can just jump on it whenever you want. But when you jump onto it, also jump into the Happy Honeys if you're not already in there, and we'll be doing fortnightly Q&As in there for the people going through the mini money makeover. So have a look at the stuff that we're going to send you. I hope you enjoy it. Before we leave, ladies, can I have one thing that you're going to take away from tonight? Gratitude, first date, first date, first date. I love first date. Type. We've got a quiz for the money type. I'll also send you the link through for that. That's fun. First date. Yeah. Get to know your money. Get to know your money, because getting to know your money will get you to love your money. And it's a better life. It's fun. And I've done it, so you can do it. It was hard for me, but I'm going to make it very easy for you. All right. Now that we're here, who has questions? Jane, I sort of believe in affirmations. The question, I have to read it out for the recording. The question is, do you use affirmations to attract money? And look, I sort of believe in affirmations. I definitely believe in a positive mindset. I think that is absolutely the most important part of my money practice. I know when I get into that sense of scarcity and lack and not being enough, that things don't go well for me. And I know that when I do that, when I'm in that space, the very simple practice gratitude pulls me out of it almost immediately. So what I do when I'm in that scarcity, lack, everything's shit space is I very consciously every morning and every afternoon, 3 things I'm grateful for when I'm walking out the door in the morning, and in the afternoon, 3 good things that happened. You can always find 3. And it can be as simple as I walked to work and smelt the eucalyptus. I went for a walk in the park with my team, and someone told a silly joke. So anything that just brings you that little hit of joy. Money can't buy you happiness, but knowing how to use it, it makes it a lot easier to live your richest and your best life. And that's not saying that even I don't even I get into that scarcity and lack feeling, but affirmations on their own, I don't work for me. They may work for other people. I certainly listen to a lot of, law of attraction and all that sort of stuff. To me, I need the practical knowledge behind it. I need to be able to know what to do with my money. I think there's a lot of talk about the people, for instance, that win Tats Lotto and end up with nothing and all that sort of stuff. I don't, yeah, I don't sort of subscribe to that kind of thing. I think that, yeah, we can learn how to use our money, and we can use it really well. Any more questions? One thing that I did that I regret. I've got lots of things that I did that I regret with money. I've invested in businesses that didn't work. I've done all sorts of, yeah, silly things. And I do regret them, but I also think that when they happen, they also teach me a lesson. So I can, very much say that there were many times that I should have, done more due diligence on an investment, or I should have I look, I've owned a racehorse. It's ridiculous. Not a very good one, and certainly not a very expensive one. But yeah, it just ended up with no money. So I don't think any of them are the worst money decisions that I've ever made, but I certainly could have made better money decisions, particularly early on. Actually, you know what? I'm going to answer that question again. The worst money decision I ever made was to not speak to my former partner about money, because I found in the end that he actually wasn't being very truthful with me. He'd told me that there was a whole lot of child support going out. He'd told me all this stuff about um, or what all his bills were and everything like that. I was paying his car loan and he left with the car. Like, that's dumb. And I'd say I've spoken to other women, and they would say something similar, that there's that you don't we walk away for a peaceful life, and I probably wouldn't do that in the future. I'd probably stay and argue a little bit longer. Um how much does mini money makeover? It's $149. It is $149, and it comes with two bonuses that you can get. One is called debt destruction. It's about how to get rid of your credit card debt. And the other one is the 30-day or 28-day, we kept changing it, sorry. The 30-day spend cleanse, which is exactly what it says. It's like a juice cleanse for your money. It's quite an amazing thing to do, and we've done it more than once, and it's worked out really well. Um, okay. Any more? Thank you. Thank you. I hope to see you on the course. I hope to see you in the Happy Honeys. And if you've got any questions, we're going to send you out we'll send you out a little bit of a refresher on what we've learned tonight, and we're going to send you out a little bit more information. Thank you. Yes, yes. Why did I choose to? I chose to stay self-employed because I really didn't want to go back into working for someone else. I don't even know why. For me, it wasn't even a thing. I just did it. Um, and I didn't really think about it at the time, actually, but I wasn't massively fond of corporate life. I liked some parts of it, but not others. Um, would I would recommend. Okay, so sorry. The question is, um, would you stay in a relationship where you are always, would you stay in a relationship where you're always picking up the tab? So paying his bills, doing all that sort of stuff? No, I wouldn't. Not anymore. I don't know about you ladies, but I've been single for a while. I've walked down that Chapel Street, single man, one bedroom flat, just ick guys that, think they're doing you a favor by dating them. They're not loyal, they're not faithful, they're not nice. Yeah. If he doesn't value you enough to take you out for dinner once in a while and you're always picking up the tab, I'd say fuck him off. Seriously. Just, yes, it is harsh. I'm done with that though. I'd rather be on my own. I'd rather be going on my first date with my money than going out on my first date with a man that's reliving his youth in South Yarra and can't get off Tinder. Yes. It is hard to find someone, but you don't have to be with a guy like that. You don't have to be paying for him to go out. He's probably not that interested in going out anyway. Um, yeah. So a couple of others have joined the discussion. I just for the purposes of the video, there is an overwhelming sense of we shouldn't go out with this guy. But I'm sure we all have. I'm sure we all have. So we're not here to judge. We have all been on our own journeys and we've all done our own things. And it is quite difficult at our age and life stage to find that person that has that right kind of thing. So when we're falling in love with our money, the first thing we spoke about was, how do you show up for yourself? And how you show up for yourself is how you are seen by others as well. So how you show up for your money, if you're all, like I said, if you're all scruffy and you're not looking after yourself and you're not being good to yourself and you're not bringing yourself joy, then it's very hard to bring joy to others. If you're feeling scarcity, lack, if you're feeling like things just aren't working out for you, it is very hard to bring that joy to others. So worth thinking about. All right. Any more? I think you're all amazing. I think you're all amazing for just taking this step and jumping onto a Zoom. Thank you so much. Happy Galentine's Day. Galentine's Day, I'm told by my team, is the Valentine's Day that celebrates girl friendships, and I've got a lot of wonderful women in my life, and I'm sure you do in yours. Has been magnificent to see you. Thank you all so much for turning up. And I really, really look forward to, and look, jump on the mini money makeover. If that's not for you, if that's too basic for you, if that's not where your head's at, we've got more offerings coming all the time. We've got more offerings for self-employed. We've got more offerings for non-self-employed. Come and listen to the podcast, jump into the Facebook group. We just want you in our community because you are such wonderful and beautiful women. Thank you so much again. And sorry about my eye.